It's that time of the week again, my favorite Friday night meta here, a weekly series on the channel where we give you the latest, the greatest, the tips, the stack ranks, all the best decks, new players, veteran players alike, load you up with the information that you need to make the right decisions to up your game or create the best you. Now, with that said, thank you for tuning in. As always, down below in the timestamps, we do break out all the formats, best of 1 and best of 3. Excited to bring that to you here today. Find the one that makes sense for you. Also appreciate your support as always. If you happen to have a question or comment throughout today's episode, you let me know because I love to hear from you, or feel free to feel free to swing by the Discord server and come join your fellow community as well. So let's get moving here as we break down standard best of 1. We finally got a full week here into our new season for April. So we probably won't have a ton of information at Mythic, but we will see a lot here nonetheless at a broad range. So right now, as we're looking into it, we do have Azora Soldiers at the top. We got Selesnya Toxic, Mono Red Aggro, Mono Red Burn, Mono Black Control, Grixis Midrange, Mono White Control. This one's kind of Mono White Midrange, something that we did play this week. You can check out in Azora's Control. Now, on the right, you can see how everything's popular and trending as well. Mono Red Aggro, Azora Soldiers, and Mono Red Burn being the 3 key ones there. So as we scroll down here, you can see how these things are trending. Again, fairly consistent with where it had finished. We see a little bit of a switch on the soldier stuff there. Again, some of the other things trending down, getting a little bit tighter here though, in terms of some of these other decks. And then also similar to what we're seeing in the win rates, lots of consolidation here, trending down for that Azora Soldiers. A little bit of an uptick there as we've seen a few changes here off the bat in the first week. So that is what we have at an aggregate. Let's take a fast look here and see a little bit of a couple changes there when we get to Platinum, which is primarily right now like Mythic. So I just wanted to show you that as well. All right, let's blow all the way back out for standard best of 1. Now we're going to pivot over to best of 3. Here we got Esper midrange, Rakdos midrange, Mono Red Aggro, Mono White midrange, Mono Black Aggro, Grixis midrange, Selesnya Toxic, Jund midrange, 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 midrange. Yes, that is correct for standard best of 3. Now on the right here, you can see Grixis, Esper, Mono White midrange, Rakdos midrange, making up primarily well over half of the meta. All right, now as we go down here, we do see these kinds of trends changing up a little bit. When that first came out, a little bit more steady again, a little bit of change there, and then off to the gates here. This one popping up, definitely Rakdos midrange being a little bit more prevalent in the meta. And then we do see Grixis midrange falling off a little bit. Certainly, again, in terms of win rates, we do see Rakdos out strong right out of the gate. Esper midrange doing very well and continuing to do well. Held well again in the previous month. So it gives you a big point of view into how things are going there. All right, let's go ahead and look at Platinum. Couple of changes as you saw there in the middle of the pack. All right, pop all the way back. It is time for us to go back to best of 1 and move over to Alchemy. What is going on in Alchemy? Not a lot. Not a lot of you are playing. Just the people playing Mono Red. Looks like. Anyway, so there you go. Right out of the gate, did jump up a little bit. We do see Dimmer in there as well. And there you have it. Now, there is the set release Alchemy rebalancing here that happened within this last couple of days as well. So, all right. Let us go to best of 3. Can't expect anything there, really. Yep, there you go. The old one was Grixis midrange. Bam, bam, bam. All right, over to Historic. Here's what we got going on for Historic. Esper Affinity, followed by Mono Green Elves, Izzet Wizards, Rakdos midrange, Boros Hammer, Mono Red Aggro, 5-color Reanimator, and Dimmer Mill. On the right, you can see what that play looks like. Izzet Wizards being heavily played at 11%. Mono Green Elves next. Dimmer Mill fairly heavily there as well, and the rest. Now, when we look at what we got going on in terms of popularity over time, we did have that Shadows over Innistrad remastered drop. You can make fun of me in the comments there. And then here you see how this is playing out. Now, again, we do have Esper Affinity doing very, very well here right now in terms of our win rates. And then again, you can see some of those changes out of the gate moving around quite a bit, but certainly a pretty packed, consolidated meta there nonetheless. All right. so let's see what we got going on. Any changes at Platinum? A few things again, mixing up in the middle, which seems to be fairly consistent. Let us see best of three. Best of three. 5-color Niv, Rakdos Goblins, Mono Green Devotion, Rakdos Midrange, Izzet Wizards, 5-color Reanimator, Azor's Control, Jund Midrange. Again, here on the right, top three making up most of it. And then we can see quite a few changes. As you can see, when the new release came out, Rakdos still being the key deck. We do see Jund Midrange popping in, and Jund Midrange still doing very, very well in terms of popularity, and Rakdos going with it. And Izzet Wizards there. Now, here on the win rates, lots of stuff doing fairly well. And consistently well in terms of best of three. We do see at the tail end there that 5-color Niv doing well, and that 5-color Reanimator dropping off. And then the other ones kind of fall in that as well. So if we go to Platinum, we got a couple things moving around there as a last snapshot. All right, so we'll go all the way back out. Best of one, we've covered Standard, we've covered Alchemy, we've covered Historic. On to our last Best of one and Best of three format here, Explorer. All right, so here's what we got. Boros Heroic, Selesnya Angels, Abzan Greasefang, Azor's Control, Mono White Humans, Mono Green Devotion, Mono Red Aggro, and then Mono Black Devotion. Not doing so well for Mono Black. Selesnya Angels and Abzan Greasefang heavily dominating. And then here you can see again, popular over time, the release, Selesnya Angels falling out of favor a little bit. We do see everything get a little bit more compacted. However, we do see that Azor's Control moving up and Mono Black Devotion starting to move up in terms of play. Now, win rate over time, we see Selesnya Angels, but now it's being overshadowed by Boros Heroic there. And then some other things kind of falling off as well when we look at that meta. All right, so that is best of one. Let's look at a little bit more competitive space. We got a few things moving around there, so that's good to see. We'll pop back out and over to best of three. On best of three, we got 5-color Creativity, Mono Green Devotion, Rakdos Midrange, 5-color Fires, Selesnya Angels, Abzan Greasefang, Rakdos Sacrifice, and Azor's Control. Now on the right, heavily dominated by Rakdos Midrange, Abzan Greasefang, Azor's Control there. And then as we go down, we can see some of this popularity. Again, things moving with the release, and then also with the new April season. Lots of spread here, which is kind of interesting. And then a very, very interesting consolidation here as we go into the last couple of days, which is rather of interest for sure. Now, as we look at things here, we do see a lot of slippage in some of the win rates, and certainly some of the things like Gruul Vehicles popping in, Rakdos Midrange doing a little bit better, but it's a definitely the moving compacted meta that will continue to develop here. As we move out and look at the more competitive space here, we got a couple things that move around, like Azora Spirits popping in as an example there, so that's a good one there for us to see. All right, all the way out, let us now look at our last format, Historic Brawl. Atraxa. We got some changes here. So not only is Atraxa up there, we got Geist of St. Traft, the first sliver, now Roscoe, who is heavily dominated. We got Tamio Krumanix, the Rat King, I love it, Goshen Tai, and Azeka. Atraxa at 5.6%, Sliver 2.9, Roscoe 2.1, and then here you can see how all this is breaking out and changing. So again, Roscoe really dropping off. Must be a lot of players maybe getting sick of it. As an example, I don't know. Here we are. The first sliver, though, continues to gain ground. We do have Atraxa starting to lose in terms of some of the popularity. And then again, as we can see the win rate over time, Roscoe kind of maintaining, I guess. We do see the sliver popping up. It was getting back a little bit there. And then we do see Tamio making a run for it as well. So nice to see diversification and change here, because Historic had been heavily dominated by Roscoe for some time. Nice to see those other ones popping in there as well. All right, pulling it all back together here for today's episode. We walked through Standard, we walked through Alchemy, we walked through Historic, Explorer, and Historic Brawl. We gave you the best of one and best of three. Hot out of the gate here for April, being our first week for Friday Night Meta here. for this month. Excited to see how things unfold. And as we get to start to see a lot more March of the Machines, maybe some of those play changes could change as we start to prep for some of those other things there as well. So thank you for tuning in. As always, your support is much appreciated. Thank you to the members. Thank you for the likes, and thank you for the subs. If you happen to have a question or comment, do let me know. I love to hear from you. Great ways to stay connected down below. Great way to continue for us to build our community here. On top of that, feel free to come swing by the Discord server and ask any questions that you may have as well. All right, we got a ton more Magic the Gathering content headed your way here on the channel. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll see you around again soon. We got a ton more things headed your way. Till then, take care. Mythras, out of here.